Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Dr. Tricia Ciccone at Central Kentucky Optometric Associates. Central Kentucky Optometric Associates has offices in both Lebanon and Springfield. And as we're recording this, it is time for school again. Isn't that amazing? And actually, August is National Children's Eye Health and Safety Month, but also it's National Children's Vision and Learning Month. And I think they kind of tie in with school here, because in Kentucky, where school started.
Right.
Right?
Yes, yes they do, and it's all tied together. In Kentucky, any student entering the public school system or the parochial, the Catholic school system, for the first time is required to have a baseline eye or vision exam. If you enter, or if you go to any of the Head Start programs, you have to have one of those every year. So it's really recommended that all children have their eyes examined, even as young as 1 and 2 years old. What we're looking for in those younger ages is anything that might impede with good visual development. If you miss out on an issue when they're that young, sometimes by the time they're 5 and 6, intervention, you'll get less optimal results because you intervene too late. So we do like to see our kids young as we can, and you'll see that the eye exam approach to the exam is much different for a 1-year-old than it is going to be to a 5 or 6-year-old, but it's also different for a 5 or 6-year-old than it is for a 15-year-old. So the eye exams, just we cater and adjust them to the age of the student. But vision and learning, we live in a visual world, and good vision is essential to progressing and learning. Now, some kids some people aren't born with good vision, and they still have to learn. But if you can uncover visual issues, you can make the learning process just a lot more enjoyable and a lot less tedious and difficult. And kids can excel a lot more. You tie that into the safety issues. Kids are back in school now. They're going to be back playing sports and taking part in activities. And so you want to make sure your kids have the correct safety wear for participating in their sport. Or maybe contact lenses might be a better option for them for participating in some activities. So you just really want to really evaluate the visual needs of each child and what their needs and requirements are, and design a program that's going to be best for each individual.
I know since I was in school, a lot of things have changed with the way people learn, because when I was in elementary school, I had just started something with computers, but it wasn't like as predominant as it is now. So is there a difference for like eye care? Do computers make a difference in how you evaluate people's eyes?
Actually, maybe they don't make a big difference in how we approach an eye exam, but the use of computers creates a lot more visual strain. And there's kind of some new studies have shown that our exposure, we're getting exposed to more and more what we call blue visible light, or high energy wavelength visible light, which is kind of it's part of the visible spectrum, but very near the ultraviolet spectrum. So for years and years we've been telling folks you've got to protect yourself from ultraviolet light. Now what we're finding is that maybe we should be protecting ourselves from that blue light. And you get that blue light just from natural incandescent light. You get it from sunlight. But one place where you actually get exposed to it more blue light than usual is when you're looking at a cell phone, an iPad, or any kind of tablet or a computer screen. And our kids are just looking at these things all the time, and they're getting exposed to more and more and more blue light than we ever were as children. And we're not really certain actually where this is going to lead, but there's a lot of thought in the research circles that this is going to increase the incidence of macular degeneration and cause us to have more macular issues as our whole population ages. So a lot of we are introducing lenses that have blue filters built into them, and so for kids and adults too that spend a lot of time on these is reducing your exposure to blue light. That's another reason to tell those kids to put those phones and those tablets up, and or think about putting a blue filter in their new set of eyeglasses. And there's some specialty lenses. The Eyezen lens has it built right in. Transitions lenses has blue filters built right in, so you don't have to add another thing on there. So there's ways to get those filters. There's some anti-glare coatings that have blue filters built into them. One called Prevencia, and there's a couple more of those. So you'll see and start reading. You'll be reading and seeing a lot of things about blue light filters, and that's what it's based on.
Now we talked about in order to enter school you had to have an eye exam, but what is your recommendation for? Is it something that kids should have annually?
Annually, because kids are growing and changing all the time. They go to the dentist twice a year, their teeth are growing and changing, and your eye and your refractive status can change. And kids, especially during their biggest growth spurts, have the biggest changes in their vision. So, then they won't always tell you that they're not seeing good for whatever reason that they have. Or maybe they just don't know that they're not seeing what everybody else is seeing, and I think I see that happening a lot. In other words, they might think if they tell you that they're going to have to get glasses, or sometimes they want glasses, and so they'll tell you the other way too. So, but you
have ways of figuring it out.
Yeah, we have our ways.
Exactly. And you can go to Central Kentucky Optometric Associates. Again, the offices are located in Lebanon and in Springfield, and make an appointment to get your child checked out. And also for adults, annual is the recommendation there too, right?
Yeah, some adults can get away with every couple of years. If you're healthy and you don't have any refractive issues, you might be able to for a certain time during your period, but during your life period, 20s and 30s, if you don't have any refractive issues and you're healthy, you're not diabetic, don't have any high blood pressure or any health issues, probably once every couple of years is fine. But once you get over that 45, 50 mark, really when you start hitting 40, it's every year.
So call and make an appointment. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I've been talking with Dr. Trish Ciccone with Central Kentucky Optometric Associates.